Salut classe! Pour leçon 9, j'ai divisé la leçon en deux parties parce que leçon 9A parle beaucoup de description des personnes, description physique, etc. Alors, j'ai coupé la leçon en deux. Because lesson 9 has two related but yet very different concepts, I have divided the lesson into two parts. The first part, lesson 9A, really talks about what people are like and describing and that sort of thing. So we're going to tackle that part first. And then the second part, or the second part of the chapter, I'm going to put together. Okay? So a lot of beaucoup de leçon 9A, c'est la révision. Okay, a lot of it is review and just kind of linking concepts that we've already seen more concretely. So I'll get into it and you'll see what I mean. Par exemple, on a parlé beaucoup de nationalité, de la nationalité, depuis le début de la classe. Je suis française, je suis canadienne, je suis mexicaine, etc. OK? Mais je suis fille, je suis Madame Toussaint, je suis une fille, une dame. Alors, je ajoute un E, américaine, etc. Si tu es un garçon, c'est un peu différent, n'est-ce pas? Quand tu parles au garçon, OK, la colonne ici, tu es français? Oui, je suis français. Tu es mexicain? Oui, je suis mexicain. OK, si tu es un garçon, la nationalité, la prononciation est un peu différente, n'est-ce pas? Alors, pour une fille, tu es française, tu es américaine, tu es mexicaine, tu es anglaise, tu es canadienne. Oh non, je ne suis pas canadienne. OK? Tu te souviens? Is this ringing a bell? So, canadienne, canadien. Oui, la différence entre masculin et féminin? OK, je sais que la liste est courte. Oui, je n'ai pas beaucoup de nationalités. Hein? Je peux dire polynésien, polynésienne. Oui, je peux dire coréen, coréenne. Oui, il y a beaucoup de nationalités. So, depending on the nationality, of which there are many in our world, okay, this is just taken from the book to show quickly the adding of the E for the feminine. Most nationalities and most adjectives in French, you add an E to make it feminine. Okay? So voilà, il y a des autres exemples. Africain, africaine. Asiatique, asiatique. So something like Asian, okay? And Russe, for our Russian friends, it's also the same. It already ends in an E. So if it ends in an E in the masculine form, you don't need to add another E for the feminine. It stays the same. Okay? Polonais, Polish, polonaise. Polonésien, polonésienne. OK, voilà. So, c'est un peu le même pour toutes les différentes nationalités, pour toutes les régions. OK? Alors, le grand concept, tu ajoutes un E. Il y a généralement une différence entre masculin et féminin en français. Voilà, OK? Tu regardes, tu peux regarder, tu vois, you see, tu vois, canadien, anglais, etc. Okay, are you tired of this yet? You're like, yes, yes, Madame Tolson, je comprends. Okay, so tu ajoutes le E. On a fait ça avec la nationalité. On a beaucoup fait ça. Okay, so if you're tired of this and you're like, yeah, I get it. I have succeeded. Okay, because then as we add now different adjectives, this will be like cake to you. Okay, it'll be so easy. So regarde. Regarde quelques mots de vocabulaire pour la description physique. OK? C'est juste une toute petite liste. Hein? C'est pas très grand. Regarde. Il est. OK? C'est tous les garçons ici. OK? Parce qu'elle pense. She's thinking. Elle pense. She's thinking about him. Il est. Il est grand. Oh, il est grand. He is tall. Il est petit. He is short. Il est brun. Brun, referring to hair color. Il est brun. Il est blanc, blanc. Ah, il est blanc, okay. Il est beau. Il est beau, okay. Where have we seen this word before? That's right, weather. Il fait beau. Il fait beau. So when we're talking about weather, think about how we did that. Il, he, it. Il fait beau. Weather is masculine, so il fait beau. Even though in English we translate it as, oh, it's beautiful, okay? In French, beau, if you're talking about in our case, un garçon, okay, we're talking about that he's handsome, okay? A jeune, jeune, young. Not to be confused with the color jaune, okay, which is Jaune, okay, that's a common problem. Jeune is young, jeune. Okay, so ici, nous avons les descriptions des filles. Okay, so now we're going to describe these girls and look at the difference. Elle est grande, grande. Il est grand, elle est grande. She is tall. Elle est petite. She is petite. She is short. Elle est brune. Elle est brune. She's a brunette. Elle est blonde. Elle est blonde. She's a blonde. Elle est belle. Elle est belle. Ah, she's beautiful. Notice belle, beau. La différence, féminin, masculin. So this is one that the word really changes. The best way to remember this word, our favorite Disney cartoon, Beauty and the Beast, La Belle et la Bête, okay? So belle means beautiful, just like they sing in the song. Okay, and jolie. Jolie means pretty. If you were to drop the E, you could use it to describe un garçon, but it wouldn't be common. It wouldn't be common, okay? It would, beau, mignon is another one. Cute, mignon is another one that's used. Okay, but this is just a basic list to get us started. And then elle est jeune. So notice how jeune already ends in an E, so we don't need to change that between masculine and feminine. But notice how, and then this one, it's totally different. And then notice how all these other ones, you've just added an E. Okay, there are, of course, lots and lots and lots of different words to describe people. And if we were in class, I would go all in and we'd talk about hair color and all this different stuff. If you have questions and you want to ask me, pose them. But right now, I'm just working on the basic, brun, brune, blanc, blonde. Okay, ça va? Une autre méthode, une autre description pour les personnes. So here's some other vocabulary to give you some other methods or ways to describe people. So une personne, the word person in French is actually feminine. So whether you're talking about a guy or a girl, une personne, if you wanted to say il, okay, he, il est une personne grande, you're describing the person. So generally, just FYI, personne means person. Don't worry so much about the masculine, feminine right now. That's a more advanced concept. I'm more concerned that you notice the pronunciation of these endings. That is a bigger deal, okay? Étudiant, étudiante. Élève, élève. Camarade, camarade. Homme, femme. Professeur, prof. Professeur, prof. Voisin, voisine. Okay, so notice how some of these you do have a definite change in how they're pronounced because the E or just a totally different word. Also notice how some of these, as we'll be getting into more detail next year, un étudiant, une étudiante. Okay, un élève, une élève. So like the word élève, which is generally used for like younger kids to talk, elementary school students. Élève, the word itself stays the same, but the word in front changes. Okay, that's just an FYI right now. I am more concerned that if I if you could use the word élève, or if we were reading something that you'd be like, élève, okay, I think that means student. All right, that's more what I'm concerned about right now, okay? All right, this is taken from the book, and I'm gonna go do a little review to kind of help you be a little bit less intimidated by some of these descriptions and some of these questions, because this is a formative assessment that we're gonna be doing in this chapter. So, for example, une conversation entre deux personnes. Okay, so think back to when we talk in class and we want to ask yes, no questions, right? So the easiest way to get your answer is to fill in the blank for them, right? So, we're having a conversation. Tu es prof? Okay, are you a teacher? Tu es prof? No, je suis étudiante. Tu t'appelles Claire? Tu t'appelles Claire? You call yourself Claire? Oui, je m'appelle Claire. Yes, my name is Claire. This should be all coming back to you, okay? Tu as 12 ans? Tu as 12 ans? Non, j'ai 9 ans. J'ai 9 ans. Tu es grande? Oui, je suis grande. Et sympa et belle. Okay, so when you're having a conversation with another person and it's a yes no question, see how there's no question words? We're just, question words, which we talked about in the last chapter. Okay, so you should have already done that. It's just, allowing the person to easily answer yes or no. Oui ou non. Now, look at these information questions. Okay, so again, this is a conversation just between two people. Qui es-tu? Tu es qui? Okay, c'est un peu rude, hein? Qui es-tu? Je suis étudiante. Who are you? I'm a student. Je suis étudiante. Ma profession est étudiante. Tu t'appelles comment? Tu t'appelles comment? See, there's that question word. Je m'appelle Claire. So notice how I've inserted the answer where the question word was. Okay. Yes, I still have to change from tu to je, but it's just a substitution. Tu t'appelles comment? Je m'appelle Claire. Tu as quel âge? Tu as quel âge? So how do you think you would answer that question? Tu as quel âge? This is from first trimester. Tu as quel âge? J'ai 9 ans. J'ai 16 ans. J'ai 17 ans. Okay, so that's how you ask someone's age. Tu es como? Tu es como? What are you like? Je suis grande, sympa et belle. Sympa, not Simba. Okay, this isn't the Lion King. Sympa means nice. Okay, so je suis grande, sympa et belle. Okay, so this is asking and answering, talking, having a conversation. What I want you to do in this chapter and for this little worksheet that I'm going to put into Canvas and ask you to do is to describe someone else. Description d'une personne. Qui est? Qui est? C'est qui? Who is it? C'est une fille. C'est une fille. Elle s'appelle comment? Elle s'appelle comment? Why did I put elle there? Why did I put elle there? Why did I put elle and not il? Oui, because on sait que une fille is feminine, okay? So a girl would be she. So she calls herself how? She calls herself what? Elle s'appelle comment? Elle s'appelle Bryn. Elle s'appelle Bryn. Elle a quel âge? Elle a quel âge? She has what age? Okay. Notice how in all of these, I'm doing more of an informal kind of intonation kind of question, putting that question word at the end. Elle a quel âge? Elle a 6 ans. Elle a 6 ans. Elle est comment? Elle est comment? Elle est petite, sympa, et belle. Okay, so you are going to be doing the same kind of thing in written form. So, quel changement? So, what am I asking you to do here? Going from always talking about yourself or having a conversation with someone to talking about someone else. So, we're going to have to change the subject of the sentence, right? If you're describing someone else or asking a question about someone else, you have to put a question word in there or a subject pronoun, okay? So, we're going from je and tu to il and elle and sometimes qui. When you change the subject, you also have to change the form of the verb that you're using, right? So we went, from j'ai to tu as to il a to elle a. And then same, and that is the verb avoir. And then also, excuse me, with the verb être, je suis, tu es, il est, elle est. And then finally, les adjectifs. Est-ce que c'est masculin ou féminin? Did you change the form? So how do we describe a person? Comment décrire une personne? Il y a la description physique, n'est-ce pas? Grand, petit, jeune. On peut faire une description de personnalité. Elle est sympa. Il est intelligent. Elle est intelligente. Smart. L'âge. We can talk about a person's age, okay? We can talk about le rôle dans la vie, the role that they have in their life, right? Profession, professeur, acteur, actrice, chanteur, masculin. Okay, remember Adomania Musique if you did the formative assessment way back in the first module when we were first on break. Okay, I asked you about your favorite singer, chanteur ou chanteuse. Okay, so you can talk about their profession. You can talk about, if they're a family member, mon frère, ma mère, ma sœur. Okay, or just give some indication about la personne, un voisin, a neighbor, masculine, ou voisine, female neighbor, camarade, classmate. Okay, so there's lots of different ways to describe people. Some of them, yes, are new vocabulary, but others are ones that we've seen and we've used, but just to describe ourselves or way back when we were doing the All About Me presentation. Okay, voila. So again, I took this from the book, all right, and there is, il y a un Quizlet. J'ai fait un Quizlet. I did a Quizlet, which I have the link to in Canvas, which has every single bit of vocabulary from this first part of the chapter, okay? Mais pour commencer, okay, par exemple, si tu regardes les photos, think about when you look at these pictures, how would you describe? How could you describe them with the vocabulary from this chapter? So, numéro un. Il est acteur. Il est beau. N'est-ce pas? Comment s'appelle-t-il? Quel âge a-t-il? Il a quel âge? Il s'appelle comment? Okay, so think about, could you give their names? Could you tell how old they are? Estimate. How could you describe them? Il est grand. Okay, par exemple. So this is what I want you to think about. Could you say 1 to 2 things about each nationalité? Okay, so in the worksheet that I'm going to ask you to do, it's that same kind of thing. So use this kind of vocabulary, use this video and this kind of method to think about, if I were talking about myself, what would I say? And then move it to talking about another person. All right. And again, I have all the vocabulary in a Quizlet, which I have a link to in Canvas. So remembering the overall objectives for this part of the chapter, you want to be able to ask about and describe what people are like using simple adjectives. So you can make yes/no questions. You can make information questions. Look at those basic adjectives that are from the chapter. Some of them are review, like étudiant and professeur. Ask about and describe people's ages. You know how to give your own age. So how could you tell what someone else's age is? And then finally, ask and describe who people are and their names. Okay. Remember, for name, elle s'appelle, il s'appelle, you can also use il est and elle est. Okay. He is and she is. You could also do that too. All right. Bon courage.